In this video, I'm going to go through questions 61 and 62 on page 207 that you had for homework. Most of these are just using the calculator and being able to change the window and settings. So I'm going to walk you through that here so you can look back at this for both those examples. So number 61 here, sorry, it's taking a second to focus. It says that the projected population of the United States for the years 2025 through 2055 can be modeled by this equation, where P is the population in millions, and T is time in years, with T being 25 corresponding to 2025. Okay. So the first step is we want to graph this function for those years, 25 through 55. So what our first step is, we are going to plug this equation here into our y equals. Okay. So this 307.58, we are going to plug that into our y equals. Okay. As I've actually already done here by pressing y equals and then just typing in that equation here. Okay. Once we have that equation in, if we hit graph, all right, actually nothing pops up in here in our graph because our window is not set right. So I'm going to talk you through how to change your window settings. So if I just click on this window button, okay, basically what we have here is the smallest x value, the largest x value, and then x scale, which is how fast the x's go up, and then same thing for our y values. Okay. For this example, okay, t, all right, is our variable, that is our x here. So if we look at part A, we want to go from 25 to 55. So our values for t should go from a minimum of 25 to a maximum of 55. Okay. And because I'm going from 25 to 55, the scale doesn't really matter here. I'm just going to make it 5 so it goes up by increments of 5. Okay. So then if I look to graph this, okay, for some reason I still don't see anything in there. That's because my y values haven't been set yet. Okay, so if I now go and actually look at my table, okay, to get to table you hit second and then graph. Okay. Oh, my table values aren't good. Let me just change my table values. Okay. All right. If I open up my table here, okay, with my x values starting at 25 and going to 55, okay, we can see here that when x is 25, my y value is 350. So 350 should be on my graph. That should be at least a minimum on my graph, 350. And as we can see, as I go down here, it is increasing. And once I get down to my x value being 55, we see that the y value is 409. So I know that my y value should be going from 350 all the way up to 409 or 410. So I'm going to make sure that those values are on here by making it go from 350, maybe even a little less than that so I can see the value. 345 works. Okay. And going up all the way to 410, maybe 415 so that we can see all those values. Again, I'm going to go up by 5. That scale doesn't matter too much to us just because we want to see the picture here. All right. Now if I hit graph, okay, we get this good graph here. We can see those values. Okay. And my x values are going from 25 to 55 like it asked for. And it's nice to know that my y values are going from about 350 to 410. Okay. So that's how we can graph this. You can see on my work here that I just put a quick graph of this showing the minimum, maximum values of my x and my y. Okay. The next part of this question asks us to use the table feature. We already looked at the table. Basically what this wanted you to do was list these values out from 25 to 55, which you can just copy down from this table in your calculator. Okay. Now if we look at part C, okay, according to the model, right, or looking at your table, what year will the population of the United States exceed 430 million? If we look at this, we see how these values are going up. So I'm going to go down here until it gets to 430 million. So I'm going to keep scrolling, getting close. We can see here that in 2065, okay, it's already above 430. So that means that during 2064, it passed that value of 430 million. So as you can see in my answer here, I wrote that in 2064, it passed that value of 430 million. Okay. So that's number 61. Now I'm going to go through number 62. I think this one's pretty similar. Okay. This one, our population in millions of Italy from 2005 to 2015. Excuse me, 2003 to 2015. Okay. So we're again given the equation, and we're told that t equals 3 is 2003. Okay, so basically we're going from 3 to 15. Okay. The way that I start these problems is writing down all the information that's given, writing the equation, writing other stuff that you know that is given to you. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to plug this equation into my y equals, which I'm going to do so right now. E to the 0.0051 x. Okay. And then I am going to go to graph it. As you can see, we again can't see anything in our graph here, so this is when we want to change our window. Okay. Hopefully that you can see here, again, 3 to 15, so our x values should go from 3 to 15. I'm just going to make it from 0 to 15 so that we can see about some values before the 3. Okay. And we can leave that at 5. Maybe you'd want to go up by 1. Doesn't matter really the scale. Okay. Now if I graph this, again we can see nothing pops up because we didn't do our y values yet. In order for me to see the y values, I'm going to go to our table. Okay. I need to scroll all the way up to 3 to 15 to see those y values. Okay. We can see here how at 15 it's around 62, so that might be our max. We might go a little higher than that. And in 3, all right, we can see it's at 58. So maybe I'd go from about maybe 55 to 65, going up by 1 each time. Now we can see a good graph on there once we change our window. Okay, so if it asks us to graph, we would put that on there like this. Okay. This one just asked us to figure out if it's increasing or decreasing. We can see here on the graph as we go left to right, our graph is increasing, the population is going up. Okay. Part B says find the population in 2003 and 2015. We can actually just look at that on our table. All right. When our x value is 3, our population is 58.478 million. Okay. And then down at 15, the population is 62.169 million. Okay. And then if we look here, part C, the last part, says use the model to predict the population in 2020 and 2025. So we just want to look at here for year 20, 63.774 million, and 25, 65.421 million. Okay. Hopefully this video helps you with the window and how to set up those values and where those values come from.